How you doing? If you have a band, please grab that. We'll use that today. Otherwise, we'll get started. We're going to do the first 3 exercises are going to be just breathing and mobility based, and then we'll go into core exercises in our last 2 pieces. I'm just getting my stopwatch up, and we're going to start, as always, with our breathing. So we're going to be on our backs. Think about having your back flat on the ground. You don't want that arch. So if you're feeling a space between the mat and your back, one of the ways you can fix that is to breathe out, bring your ribs down, have a little pelvic tilt. You either have your feet flat on the ground or up in the air at 90 degrees. And all you're going to do is you're going to breathe in, but not through your stomach, through your ribs. You want to feel your ribs expand into the mat. And then out, reaching high up in the air, breathe all the air out, pause for 2 seconds at the end, and then we'll breathe back in. So we're going to do 6 breaths. We usually do 5. Today we're going to do 6 breaths just like that. So here we go. Breathe in. And out. In. You may have felt your lower core engaged when you're breathing out. Try to keep that engaged when you breathe in. Out. Don't forget to pause for 2 seconds at the end. Breathe in. Breathe in. Two more. Last one. All right, we're going to go into cobra pose. So you're going to be on your stomach. All we're going to do this morning is just hold that position. If you prefer to do repetitions, that is fine. You can do that. You're just going to come up, and we're just going to hold here for 1 minute. The closer your hands are to your shoulders and your hips, the more you're going to come up. Remember to draw your shoulders back. Really press your upper back forward, your chest forward into the imaginary wall in front of you. Your low back and your hip and your butt want to be totally relaxed. If you feel like you're squeezing your butt at all, just actively relax it. Just think about slow breathing. All right, nice work. Come up. Okay, we're going to do a hip stretch that's a little bit new. So I'm just going to demonstrate it, and then we can all do it. So you're going to take one leg. I'm very inflexible, by the way, so you have to forgive me a little bit. But you're going to take one ankle. You're going to cross it over your knee. Your hands can be at your side. And all you're going to do is rock from side to side. And you're just going to do that for about 45 seconds. Nice and slow. Really think about pressing that knee out. You're going to feel it through your low back. and through your hips. Might feel it through your core a little bit. Okay, switch sides. May get a low back adjustment, that's okay. Think about trying to keep your shoulders flat on the ground as you rotate. So if your shoulders are coming off at all, really think about keeping them planted firmly on the ground. That may mean you can't quite rotate as far, and that's okay. But you really want to keep that upper back and shoulders on the ground. All right, nice work. Okay, we're going into our next series. We're going to start out with bear crawl. So in the first round, we're going to go front and back, and the second round, we're going to go side to side. We're going to do a minute here. We may actually go a minute and 10 just to increase the ante a little bit. If you recall, you don't want your back to be arched. What you want to do is you want to be pushing up. You see the difference? That's I'm arching my back. This, I'm pushing up through my scapula. So you want to have a strong posture, pushing up through your scapula. Toes are going to be curled under. You're just going to lift up just an inch off the ground. And as you're going through this, if you notice that you're coming up more, make sure to bring yourself back down. Okay? Keep that scapula strong. We're going to start in going forward, back, forward 4, back 4, starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, back. 1, 2, 3, 4. The idea here is to go slow. Think about having a glass of water on your back that you're balancing. So you don't want to have your hips shifting. You really need to use that core to balance yourself, maintain hip stability as you move forward and back. Remember, if your knees start coming up, bring them back down so they're in that inch. 15 seconds left. Don't hold your breath. And down. Nice work. Okay, we're going to go into a side plank. First round, we're just going to hold it. If doing a full plank is not comfortable for you, you can have your knees down. You're going to come up. The thing I want to encourage you on is, let me see, show you from the side. You don't want your hips back like this. You want them forward, okay? So your hips and your knees and your shoulder are in alignment. If you're coming back like that, you're not getting the full effect. And same thing with the plank too. So we're just gonna have a staggered stance. We're gonna hold for a minute, starting now. You can have your hand on your hip. You can have your hand up in the air, whatever you want. If you find yourself starting to pike a little bit or roll forward, just really bring that bottom hip through. Squeeze that bottom glute. Nice job, you're halfway through. I've mentioned this a couple of times. It's also a really good shoulder mobility exercise because it's really helping strengthen that shoulder capsule. Let's switch sides. If you've been doing the plank on your knees, you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can do maybe like the first 30 seconds on your knees, and then try to come up into a side plank for about 30 seconds in here. You could also start out in a plank like this, and if you need to come down and just take a quick rest, it's good to progress and challenge yourself. Got about 10 seconds left. And down. Nice work. All right. Next one is the clamshell. We've done this maybe the last time or the time before, but you're going to be on your side. Your knees are going to be up at 90 degrees. And all you're going to be doing, what you want to do is squeeze your butt. And what that's going to do is open up and do what effectively looks like a clamshell. If you're feeling it here in the front of your hip, that means you're using your TFL to open. That's not what you want to be doing. You want to really be squeezing that top glute. So we're going to do 15 on each side. If you find that like you can only open just a little amount, that's totally okay. It's not, you also may find as you do this exercise, some days you can open more than others. And that's part of it's just fatigue. Part of it's how activated your glute is. So if you aren't finding that you're getting very far, opening very much, that's more than okay. The key is just doing it right. Once you've done 15, you can switch sides. You may find, as with every exercise, one side is easier than the other. And that's quite normal and typical. Again, you really don't want to be feeling that front part of your hip here. You want everything coming from the glute. Once you're done 15, we're going to come up into hip flexor stretch. So we're going to be on our knees. You're going to bring one foot forward. And all you're going to do, you're going to sort of lean back. So you're going to feel that stretch. Sides here. Lean back so you're sort of feeling the stretch, and you're just going to lean into it. Okay? We're just going to hold here for about 30 to 40 seconds. My timer up. You want a little bit more of a stretch, you can bring your leg a little bit further forward. You can also bring your arms, I'll adjust my camera a little bit. You can bring your arm overhead, stretch to the side so you're getting a nice oblique stretch there. But you can make it as intense as you want. Let's switch sides. I don't know if any of you guys tried the Kona challenge, either the 7-day or the 3-day last week, but if you did, you may find yourself feeling a little bit tight in your hip flexors from all the biking and the longer running. So it's a good stretch for that. All right, we're going back to the bear crawl. This time we're gonna go side to side. So if you were not with us last week, it's gonna be the same exact thing that we were just doing. But instead of going forward and back, you're going to go side to side. All right, we're gonna do that for 70 seconds. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So you just go to the side, 4, which is about the length of your yoga mat. It's the same concept though of imagining that you have a glass of water on your back and you don't want to spill it. I find for me, the side to side is harder than the front to back. You may find the opposite, but it's really good to have those lateral movements. You guys are doing great. We have 20 seconds left. Your knees are coming up. Bring the nose back down. Remember to breathe. And down. Nice job. That's really good. Okay, so we're gonna go back into the side plank. If you're on your knees, what you're gonna do is you're gonna come up and you're gonna do leg lifts. Okay, you're just gonna do 10 of them. If you're on your doing the full side plank, you're gonna have stacked feet. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna come up and you're gonna do 10 leg lifts. Once you've done 10, you can switch sides and go to the other side. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, up. Those are really hard. I think it's hard to maintain good form. One of the things you definitely don't want to do is have your hips be sagging. So it's actually good if you're doing it on Zoom, if you have your video on. You want to keep that core really stable. Nice job. Okay, we're gonna go back into the clamshell. We're gonna do another 15 each side. Really good for glute activation. This is another one of my favorite exercises that I do before I run. And you know, it's like interesting. The first one, I feel it in my TFL sometimes too. I'm feeling it right now. One of the things that I do to fix that is if your back is arched, make sure you're getting a forward pelvic tilt. Also, just going really slowly allows you to get the proper activation. Once you've done 15, switch sides. See if you can get a little bit higher, a little bit more activation on, a little bit more open on this one, this round versus the last round. Nice work. Okay, we're gonna go back into the hip flexor stretch, but I'm gonna do a little bit different this time. You're gonna bring your knee forward like before. Your hand is gonna be on the inside of your foot. And you're gonna sort of use your elbow, do it forward. Use your elbow to almost like push your knee out a little bit. And all you're gonna do is just lean forward into it. You're gonna get a great hip stretch here. You're also gonna get a nice adductor stretch there. So we're gonna hold that for about 30 seconds. Each side. And how far back you bring your knee, if you wanna have it be a little bit closer, that's fine. I mean, the intensity of the stretch is really up to you. You also may find you're feeling a little bit more stiff. I like this stretch because it definitely gets a little bit of adductor for me. You may not feel it for yourself. All right, switch sides. All right, next round, here we go. All right, we're gonna do front plank, and we're gonna incorporate some different stuff throughout the duration of while we're planking. And so you're just gonna have to follow my instructions. But we're gonna start out on our elbows, and we're gonna plank for 1 minute. Okay, so we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, up. So now we're just gonna hold plank nice and strong. If your shoulders are up by your chin, just draw them back and have them be relaxed. You wanna have your butt, if you're sagging, bring yourself up. You don't wanna be piked. And in 10 seconds, what we're gonna do is you're gonna pull your elbows to your butt. We're gonna hold for 10 seconds like that. In 3, 2, 1, pull. Relax. Now we're gonna lift up one leg at a time without shifting your hips. Here we go. Stop. And one more, pulling your elbows to your butt. In 3, 2, 1, go. Three, 2, 1, and down. Nice work. That almost hard for me. All right. If you have a band, we're gonna stand up, we're gonna do toe taps. If you don't have a band, I'm gonna move this back a little bit so you can see. So if you don't have a band, you're gonna take a little bit of a squat position. You're gonna really engage that glute, and all you're gonna do is touch. You don't wanna be putting your foot down, okay? You wanna really be balancing on that one leg. You're gonna do 12 of those. If you do have a band, we're gonna be doing exactly the same thing, but it's just adding a little bit of resistance. So you're gonna squat down, you're gonna activate that hip and that glute. Have a really nice firm stance. You don't want your hips to be wobbling at all. So every time you bring your leg out, this is really activated and standing strong. And we're just gonna do 12 on each side. You may feel it in your low core as you go to stabilize. Once you've done 12, you can switch sides. Remember to reset form, okay? So come down, activate that glute, make sure your feet have a nice firm grip on the ground. You don't want to be leaning into it, so you don't want to be leaning out like this. You want to imagine that you're running, right? You're not going to like run to one side when your foot lands. You want your body to be upright and straight. So this is a really good exercise preventing hip drop. Nice work. All right. You're going to stay standing up. You're going to open, kind of split as wide as you can so that your hands can touch the ground. Your feet are going to be flat on the ground. And all you're going to do is reach up into the sky, 10 on each side. This is a good thoracic mobility exercise. And also you should feel a nice stretch in your adductors. You don't want to be twisting from your hips. You want to be twisting from your spine. So if you don't have good mobility and you can only come to here or here, that's okay. Just go as far as you can. Once you've done 10, you can switch sides. I like this exercise because it's a nice way to get both an adductor stretch and a thoracic movement exercise in. Once you've done 10 of those, we're going to go back into the plank. For this round, we're going to do shoulder taps. 1 minute. Timer up. So you're going to be up on your hands in an upper plank, and all you're going to be doing is taking one hand off the ground and touching your shoulders. The wider your feet stance is, the easier it's going to be and more stable you're going to be. We're starting now. Like the bear crawl, imagine having a glass of water on your back. So when you switch sides, you don't want to be having a lot of movement. You want your hips to stay stable. 30 seconds in, 30 seconds to go. Nice work. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1 and down. Nice job. Okay, last round of toe taps. We'll do the adductor stretch. We are done. So we're gonna do another 12 here. So I don't know if you guys saw before, but what I was explaining is it's really easy to lean against your hip, right? And go like this. That's exactly what happens with hip drop. If you think about it, when you're landing, you're like leaning into it to balance yourself. So when you get that stable stance, you actively engage your glute. You can see very little movement in the hips. They're staying very stable. I'm not leaning into it. So just think about that. You may feel some engagement on the outside of your leg or even in your peroneals. If you feel you're not feeling your big toe stabilizing, you want to use your big toe. You almost sometimes want to feel like you're pressing your knee out too to help with that stabilization and that glute engagement. Once you've done 12, switch sides. The great thing about this exercise is it brings a lot of factors into play, right? So it works on your foot strength and foot stability. It works on your knee alignment over your ankle. So ideally your knee is aligned right over your ankles and toes. It works on your glute activation and your hip stability. And you also get some core in there. So if you're doing it right versus just trying to get through it, it can be a really good exercise. Once you've done 12, we're gonna go back to our adductor exercise. 10 each side. You may feel this round feels a little bit better. May be able to go a little bit wider. Might be able to open up a little bit more. Make sure you're breathing well. I like to breathe in when I open up. Out when I come back down. Once you're done 10, switch sides. Nice work, everybody. That was really good. You guys did a great job. Hi, Lydia. Nice to see you. Good job, Brendan. Blaze, is it Blaze? Scott, great to see you. Thank you guys so much. Good to see you. Thank you. See you next week, everybody. Appreciate it.